Hello everyone, this is Wallace doing the final table review for September 17th, 2010. We're already down to 6 players. Blinds are at 200, 400. You see we got a few yellow stacks and a few red stacks. Top 3 get paid, so a little bit of diversity at the table. There's a huge drop off in chips between 3rd and 4th. Hawkeye with 7667 and Cold Case with 1300. Cold Case and Zydeco involved in a hand, 2950 in the pot. Pot covers Cold Case's remaining stack, and he's going to shove. Hawkeye is getting some semi-decent odds if he has anything. And Cold Case basically doubles up without having to show a hand. It's always a good thing. Blind still 200, 400. So Sky folds his button. Bertman in the small blind. And Bertman's been pretty tight, as you can see from his numbers. He's been playing pretty solid poker throughout the tournament. Shoves all in, 1485. It's going to be another 1085 for Cold Case to make the call. He does, and flops a straight, and that's going to send Bertman packing in 6th place. Later on in the tournament, 300, 600 blinds, $50 ante, still 5-handed. Cold Case is going to fold. Hawkeye on the button. Hawkeye is going to shove, which is basically the only play he had who's available other than Holdem. 6s against 7-10 offsuit, 7 hits on the turn, and Hawkeye doubles up to 3084. Still the short stack. Or no, he is up to 4th rather. Sox folds. Cold Case in the small blind. He's going to limp in. Hawkeye Tom checks his option. Ace of hearts, 8 of hearts, deuce of clubs, 1450 in the pot. Hawkeye checks, Cold Case checks, 6 of diamonds on the turn. Back on Cold Case. Goes check, check, 3 of diamonds on the river. Cold Case min bets 600. Hawkeye raises to 1200. Cold Case has anything, he's got a call. So that looks like a relatively weak bluff on Cold Case's part. Just didn't look like that was anything other than a bluff, just by the min bet. Usually bluffs should be similar to what you bet normally, which Cold Case has been betting pot or shoving, so that kind of looked like a suspicious bet. I would have probably done the same thing Hawkeye did. Ace-8 versus King-9, and Mr. Air Hockey is gone. Hawkeye Tom is up to 87.76 now. We are 4-handed. We are on the bubble. And our bubble for the time being is Red Sox Guy. There's only 1 blind this hand. Hawkeye is thinking about it. Raises to 2400. Zydeco quickly gives it up. And we are still 4-handed. Hawkeye Tom raises on the button. He's going to steal both the blinds, and he is now the chip leader. Hawkeye is been pretty aggressive in this tournament, as you can see from his stats. He's been in 33% of the hands, and he's been raising 29% up 33%, so he's been raising most times when he comes into a pot. He's got a pretty good aggression factor. Been to showdown a lot of times. Cold Case is on the small blind. Raises to 2400 and takes it away from Tom. Cold case shows ace queen. He is now the new chip leader. Cold case is still on the button here. 99.49 in chips. He's going to let his time run down. And it looks like he got timed out. So he's sitting out for the time being. Hawkeye Tom raises to 2400. And Zydeco shoves. Hawkeye's got to give it up. It's an interesting situation. The two most aggressive players. Well, Zydeco hasn't really been aggressive, but Zydeco's been seeing a lot of showdowns, and Hawkeye's been pretty aggressive. Wow. Hawkeye raised on the button, small blind folded, Sox shove, and Hawkeye's got to give it up. So, Hawkeye's aggression was working for him, but now it's kind of backfired. Hawkeye has been folding to 3-bets pretty consistently so far. Hasn't been doing a lot of 3-betting himself, but it's usually hard to call a 3-bet when you don't have anything to back it up with. Cold case in the small blind. Fold and let Hawkeye take a walk. Is going to fold it. Cold case on the button folds. Hawkeye in the small blind. Moves down the short stack, raises to 2400 again on Zydeco's blind. And Hawkeye has been the biggest stealer, if you can see down here on the steal percentage. He's stolen 54% of the time. So. Zydeco has folded to a steal 70% of the time, so this is actually a very high rate of success, I should say, for that play that Hawkeye is making. He raises on the button again. Zydeco min raises, and then shoves on the flop, queen of hearts, 5 of spades, 10 of hearts. Hawkeye on the flush draw and connects on the river. Wow, that was pretty loose. And that was a pretty loose call. But if he doesn't put Zydeco on much of a hand, and Zydeco has been seeing a few more pots than maybe he should have, so if he doesn't put him on much there, that he might think his flush draw is good, but a 9 high, I mean, he's probably got to hit the flush to win that hand. I don't think you can put anyone on 9 high, on something that 9 high can beat. Hawkeye again raising, Zydeco's blind, and Zydeco calls, and apparently that was playing full tilt at the same time, and Hawkeye takes that one down. Zydeco's now down to 2,000, less than 2,000 after he puts in his small blind. Hawkeye raising from the button, Sox shoves, and Hawkeye is going to fold. He notices Sox is the one who's folding the least to a steal at 50% down here. I think that Hawkeye would pick up on the fact that Sox is just not playing that game. He's not going to let him have anything. And I think Sox is a good enough player. You can see he's pretty tight aggressive, so he does know what he's doing. That he doesn't steal that often, but he doesn't fold the steals that often either. So Sox knows what he's doing, and I think he's picked up on Hawkeye's plan to just try to steal the blinds mercilessly. Cold case raises to 1,700. Hawkeye min raises to 28. Cold case calls. King, King, 3 on board, 2 diamonds, 5,800 in the pot. They're at stack level right now. Or at least at cold cases stack level. 6 of hearts. Turn. Cold case bets 750, which I believe is a min bet. Hawkeye calls, 7,300 in the pot. 9 of hearts. It's a flush draw out there, full house out there. Cold case checks. Hawkeye's going to bet half pot, which is King 10. Well, I really would have liked to have seen him push cold case in there, because he's putting in more than half of cold case's remaining stack, so I think he might have saved cold case, depending on what cold case had. He might have saved cold case $2,000 there, so something to think about. The blinds move up to 400, 800. One folds around to Red Sox guy in the big blind. Is going to continue his assault on this table with a 3,200 chip raise, enough to put cold case all in, and fold it. Hawkeye's up to 20,000 in chips. I do like the aggression from Hawkeye Tom. I'm not saying that his aggression is a bad play, but I think his timing could be just a little bit better if he was paying attention to what Sox was doing in front of him, and where Sox was on the button. That would be something, if I was Hawkeye, that I would have a lot of consideration for, as to where he is, whether he's in the blinds, on the button. I just wouldn't like to make a play on Red Sox blind, because I know that he's not folding to a lot of shoves, or at least position raises, or what looks like to be position raises. Case is going to be all in next hand unless he shoves here, which he does. Okay, makes the call. Zydeco folds, which might be the smart play to try and sneak into the money. I usually don't recommend plays based on the money, because you're not going to leave yourself with a lot of chips to get into second or first. I would rather take the shot and risk going out in fourth for a chance to be maybe second or first. You'll get less cashes quantity that way, but you'll get more quality cashes that way. And a lot of the pros will tell you that's the way they would play it too. Okay, Tom takes it down with a 6-high flush draw, or 6-high flush rather. And we're down to 3-handed. Zydeco folds his button. Sox, he's going to fill up from the small blind. Hawkeye checks his option. 2-8, 8 on the flop. 4 of hearts on the turn. Checks around. 7 of spades on the river. And there's a min bet from Hawkeye, and that's going to take it down. Sox might be in a little dangerous position here. Well, at least he was on that last hand, because the short stack might be waiting just to get into second place. And Sox is going to shove Ace-Jack against King 5. The ace hits on the river, and Zydeco is our third place finisher. Not sure what the payouts were for that. I don't have that up as I'm recording this, but I do know that the top 3 usually get paid in these events. And it's going to be 9-10 against Queen 5. There's a Queen. Oh, and a flush. Yep, 9 of spades. Hawkeye's going to take it down with a 9-high flush again. And that is your tournament for September 17th.